Nate, have you seen that the French government has fallen again after
Again,
26 days? 26 days. God, what was Liz Truss's record? Anyway, 26 days. So yeah, Sebastian Lecornu, I might be mispronouncing that, but yeah, Lecornu's government has collapsed for exactly the same reason as the last 3 or 4 have. It's over a budget and money, and the left not sort of playing ball, not sort of allowing them to, not allowing any government to sort of get a budget through, and so it collapses again and again and again and again. So, as we've said on this channel, you know, as good solid Englishmen, salt of the earth Englishmen, France is sort of an enemy, a perennial enemy. But you know, also I think I've certainly said this on the internet before. They're also like our brothers or our cousins, at least. So I'm actually getting to the point where I'm sort of aghast by it. I can imagine real French people, patriots, are just aghast by what a shit show their elite. I mean, we think our political elites are a shit show, and they are. But at least we aren't suffering from this. You know what it's like when maybe a football team, they keep changing manager. Manager gets like 3 games in charge and they swap him out for a new one. Or an F1 driver, he gets like 3 races and he's not really doing it, so they swap him for a new guy. That's actually really, really, really bad. I mean, obviously, it's just pure instability. But now it leaves Macron with fewer and fewer cards in his hands, because it looks like he just will not be able to form a government which can break this sort of stupid deadlock. And as I say, it is the socialist bloc, the more further leftist people in the French government who just won't go along with, like, so, okay, here it is in a nutshell. France spends way too much money. We all do in the West. The governments are too big, too bloated, too swollen, borrowing too much and spending too much. That's just simply the bottom line. Like far too much, suicidally too much. And the powers that be, once you actually get into high office and you're actually faced with the very real decisions, you sort of have to cut spending and borrowing and stuff. So that's what they're trying to do. And the leftists, the socialists, won't have it. No, you can't cut welfare. You can't. And so the government is just completely undermined to the point where the prime minister has to resign. It's got no other option. It's like that serious, that bad. And so now it leaves Macron, who's actually the president, right? It's not the prime minister. So it's a bit different. Macron as president is the equivalent more like of king or president in the United States. He's the head of state. Not really like a king. People in the people in the comments say he's nothing like a king. I know. But the point is that he's head of state. Okay, so how many more times can he pick a new prime minister to form a new government for him to get a budget through, and the socialists screw them? And this all ends with Le Pen. If ultimately Macron and the leftists, their whole aim is to do whatever it takes at every turn, always, to prevent the right from getting in, to prevent Le Pen from getting in. Well, this is just playing completely into her hands. So, in that sense, good, I suppose.
That's mental, isn't it? Like, because they did some like weird political thing to prevent them recently, didn't they? And you think, oh, for what? For what?
Yeah.
For what? Just to piss everyone off and not do anything and struggle and just be a complete clown show and embarrassment to the whole world. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, mission accomplished. Well done. No, like, at what point are you just going to admit admit defeat? Admit it. Like, admit defeat. Clear them out. Clear them out. Clear them out. You just got to do it. Clear them all out. Yeah. Clear them all out. Get new people in power, because this is a joke. Like, it's an absolute joke. Like, how can you stand there and just not laugh at yourself? Like, it's just embarrassing. It's an absolute embarrassment. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, like, you're right. The West spends way too much money on welfare, borrows way too much money, spends way too much money. It's a joke. Like, it's what they call it, like a false economy, right? Like, it's going to implode on itself eventually. Obviously, anyone with a brain can see, yeah, like, this is going to just blow up in everyone's faces. You got to get a handle on it sooner rather than later.
No, absolutely. You're quite right. It's an embarrassment. I'm sort of embarrassed for them at this stage, right? If this happens once, like Liz Truss, for example, or even if it happens twice, right? Once you start going down that route, if it happens twice, okay. 3 times, it looks careless, right? It's embarrassing now. And they're on, like, is it their 4th or 5th in very, very quick succession? So they're at, like, a real crisis implosion point. And you're quite right. So at the last the last presidential election, which was what, like over a year ago now, or was it 18 months ago, something like that? And yeah, they pulled out, Macron and the left pulled out every last tiny bit of gamesmanship they possibly could to keep Le Pen and the right out of government. They just refuse, like AfD in Germany. Everyone else refused to enter into a coalition with them. Okay. For what? For this? To descend into absolute chaos and hand it to them anyway. Okay. Yeah, but that's the other thing you said. Admit defeat. Just admit defeat. Well, that's the one thing they will never do. I watched last time their government fell, 26 days ago. I did a segment on Load Seats about it and did a fair bit of reading and research and watched a bunch of videos. And at the time, there was a bunch of French politicians, nearly all exclusively leftist, if not full-blown socialist ones, doing interviews with the BBC or Sky News or whatever. And yeah, all they were saying, all their rhetoric is that no, we'll never ever give in to the likes of Le Pen. Not only that, we're not even going to ever think of giving in to Macron and the bullshit prime ministers he gives us. We're not going to give in to that. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doubling down on this. It's our way or the highway. It's our socialist view or nothing, or we just keep destroying government after government after government. That was all they were saying. So the one thing that needs to happen, them give in, they won't. So I don't see, unless Macron does call another election and Le Pen overwhelmingly wins, where she can completely form a government entirely on her own without any help, any need of any coalition partners or anything like that, then that would break this downward spiral of nonsense. But short of that happening, this will almost certainly just keep happening. And I don't know, but I don't see Macron doing that. Macron is quite clearly the type of person that would rather sit on top of a bonfire, would rather sit on the deck of a sinking Titanic than ever just give up power. That's who he is, it seems to me. Right?
I mean, it's mental, isn't it? It's absolutely mental. Like you're going to go out in absolute disgrace when you eventually lose. Like, absolutely disgraced. It'll go down in history as probably the quickest succession of prime ministers in French history. I would imagine. I don't know, but one would imagine so. Well, and it's your fault, and you're just not going to accept defeat. How pathetic! You're going to go out with utter disgrace. I mean, I remember watching the French farmers spray Macron's place with fucking shit.
Yeah,
I was thinking then, I was like, what are you like? Come on, man. Like, something's got to give at a certain point. Something's got to give. And they're just like, nah, don't worry about it. And then he has the brass balls to effectively walk around with that thing that he's with as well. Oh my God, what an embarrassment. Anyway, whatever. What a joke. What a clown show.
I do think, well, France has been well known for this sort of thing. This isn't actually entirely unprecedented, although it must be getting up there for one of the worst examples of it, because I think this is the 5th one now. So I suspect that Macron will go, because I know a fair bit about recent French history. I'm very, very interested in de Gaulle's various governments. Very, very interested in that. Know a fair bit about the life and politics of de Gaulle. And I suspect Macron will go down in French history as, an abject failure. It was on his watch that France sort of imploded in all sorts of ways, economically, like agriculturally, socially, religiously, politically. Yeah. He oversaw a massive fall off the cliff for France. Yeah.
Clown show.